Most people think success is about talent. Some believe it is about luck. Others think successful people are simply born different. But the truth is far less glamorous. Success is often just a quiet war. A war that no one sees. A war that happens every morning when the alarm rings, every evening when the body feels tired, every moment when the mind whispers, "You can do it tomorrow." And the people who win in life are not the ones who never feel lazy. They are simply the ones who win the war against laziness more often than they lose. Daniel was not a lazy person. At least, that's what he told himself. He had dreams. Big dreams. He wanted to start his own online business. He watched motivational videos. He read books about success. Every night he promised himself, "Tomorrow I will start seriously." But tomorrow always had a strange habit. It never came. Instead, mornings turned into scrolling through his phone. Afternoons disappeared into YouTube videos. Evenings ended with the same quiet guilt. Daniel knew what to do. But knowing and doing are two very different things. And deep inside, Daniel felt something slowly eating his confidence. It was the feeling that he was losing time. One morning, Daniel went to a small tea shop near his neighborhood. It was a quiet place where an old man named Mr. Kareem sat every morning. Mr. Kareem was not rich. He did not look like a famous entrepreneur. But people respected him. He had once built a successful business in the city and later retired to a simple life. Daniel had spoken to him a few times before. That morning, Daniel looked tired. Not physically. Mentally. Mr. Kareem noticed. "You look like someone carrying a heavy bag," he said calmly. Daniel forced a smile. "It's nothing." The old man stirred his tea slowly. "The strange thing about heavy bags," he said, "is that most of them are invisible." Daniel sighed. "I just feel stuck," he admitted. "I want to do many things, but I keep delaying them." Mr. Kareem nodded as if he had heard this story 1,000 times. "Tell me," he asked, "do you think successful people never feel lazy?" Daniel shook his head. "Probably not." Mr. Kareem smiled. "Wrong." He leaned closer. "They feel lazy every day." Daniel looked confused. "Then why are they successful?" The old man lifted his teacup. "Because they don't fight big battles." Daniel frowned. "What do you mean?" Mr. Kareem pointed to the cup. "Discipline is not winning one big war. It is winning hundreds of tiny battles." Daniel didn't fully understand. But something about the sentence stayed in his mind. That evening he sat at his desk again. Laptop open. Phone beside him. The familiar urge appeared. Just check social media for 5 minutes. Normally, Daniel would listen. But this time he remembered the old man's words. Hundreds of tiny battles. He looked at his phone. Then slowly turned it upside down. Just 10 minutes, he whispered to himself. Work for 10 minutes. 10 minutes felt small. Almost too small to fail. So he started. The first 10 minutes were uncomfortable. His mind kept wandering. But after 10 minutes, something interesting happened. He continued. Not because he forced himself. But because starting had broken the invisible wall. That night Daniel worked for 40 minutes. It was not impressive. It was not extraordinary. But it was real progress. For the first time in months, Daniel slept without guilt. The next morning he went back to the tea shop. Mr. Kareem was there. "I worked yesterday," Daniel said with a small smile. 40 minutes. The old man nodded. And? It felt different. Mr. Kareem laughed softly. That is the secret most people never learn. Daniel leaned forward. What secret? The hardest part of discipline, the old man said, is starting when you don't feel like it. He drew a small line on the table with his finger. People imagine success like a mountain. But in reality, success is built from small steps repeated daily. He paused. Lazy people wait to feel motivated. Disciplined people start before motivation arrives. Over the next few weeks, Daniel began experimenting. Not with huge changes, but small ones. Very small ones. Instead of planning to work 5 hours, he promised himself just 20 minutes. Instead of waking up extremely early, he woke up just 30 minutes earlier. Instead of trying to build everything perfectly, he focused on one small task per day. Something strange began happening. The work that once felt impossible started becoming normal. His mind stopped arguing so much. The laziness didn't disappear. But it became weaker. Like a loud voice slowly losing power. One evening, while walking home, Daniel noticed a man jogging slowly in the park. The runner was not fast. In fact, he looked tired. But he kept moving. Step after step. Daniel stood there watching. And suddenly he realized something. That runner wasn't competing with anyone. He was simply refusing to stop. And in that moment, Daniel understood discipline in a completely new way. Discipline was not about being superhuman. It was about refusing to surrender to comfort. Again and again. Months passed. Daniel's small online project slowly began growing. It was not viral. It was not famous. But it was moving forward. Every day. A little more. And the biggest change was not the business. It was Daniel himself. The boy who once waited for motivation had disappeared. In his place was someone different. Someone who understood the quiet war. One morning Daniel met Mr. Kareem again. You look lighter, the old man said. Daniel smiled. I think I finally understand discipline. Mr. Kareem raised an eyebrow. Oh. Tell me. Daniel thought for a moment. Discipline isn't about being strong all the time. It's about winning the moment when laziness says later thought. The old man nodded proudly. And what happens when you keep winning those moments? Daniel answered slowly. Your life starts moving in a different direction. Before leaving, Mr. Kareem said one final thing. Remember this, Daniel. The world is not divided between successful people and lazy people. It is divided between people who listen to laziness and people who hear it but act anyway. Every human being fights the same invisible enemy. The voice that says, skip today. Rest a little more. You can start tomorrow. Most people obey that voice. And slowly, their dreams fade. But the people who build great lives understand something powerful. They don't defeat laziness once. They defeat it today. Then tomorrow. Then the next day. Again. And again. And again. Because success is not built in giant heroic moments. It is built in quiet mornings. In small decisions, in tiny battles that nobody sees. And in the end, the people who win in life are not the most talented. They are simply the ones who refuse to let laziness win the war.